What's going on, guys? G here with TESBROS, and if you are one of those lucky folks who are getting VIN numbers and getting their Cybertruck, congratulations. And to be honest, when we first got the Cybertruck a few weeks ago, I personally like the stainless steel look, right? Are we gonna wrap it? Of course we are, but I personally don't hate it, right? Until you try to keep it clean. A lot of Cybertruck owners will go through that and go, I don't want to wrap it, and then they actually try to keep it clean. People touch their cars in the Costco or whatever, and the wrapping becomes an option, right? So what we're trying to do in this video is we're really not trying to tell you what to do. What we're trying to do is educate you in all the options, and we're going to be talking mostly about wraps. And really there's two types of films that are going to be most prevalent. The first one is going to be a vinyl, which has been around actually for decades, which means they had a lot of time to develop all these different colors that you see behind me. There's, gloss PPF and matte PPF has been around for quite a bit, but lately, in the past few years, colored PPF has been really prevalent. And what made it even bigger is that Tesla started wrapping the Cybertrucks, and not just Cybertrucks, but the Model 3, the Model Y, within the service center in specific areas where you could get color PPF, which is typically a TPU film, right? Which is a little bit different from the construction of vinyl, which is PVC. So we have here on the Cybertruck, matte vinyl, sand vinyl, gloss PPF, matte PPF, and color PPF. And we're gonna talk a little bit more into, briefly about also how it's installed, what it looks like, and some of the sheens and one of the properties. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a better idea of what you wanna do, why you wanna do it. And we're gonna add some opinions at the end, so stay tuned. We love making educational videos, so make sure you click on that subscribe button. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that it asked me to do is gonna be the matte the matte vinyl. And if you look at this, all this vinyl, most vinyl that you're gonna be working off of, like 3M and Avery, Denizen, is going to be a dry install. So what I mean by that is you just peel, this is a 3M 2080, you just use a squeegee with usually a microfiber felt, and then you just squeegee it left and right, and then you get this nice finish. And if you look at the matte finish, it's very muted, so it's the most muted out of all the other sheens, so it's like flat black. I personally like it. I think it looks really sick. This is actually the kind of finish that Franz did on his Cybertruck. So if you're thinking about, man, I really want that, and I saw it on display, this is kind of what you're looking for. One thing that I've noticed with matte is that it doesn't scratch necessarily, but you see I put my nail a little bit, and it does that. With heat, it does come out, but over time, it may not. So I feel like it's a little bit more sensitive than some of the other sheen. For removal, it's gonna be same thing, just like that. I'm gonna move it across a little bit. But one thing that's cool about vinyl is that even after I did that aggressively, I can actually heat this, and it's memory based, which means that it can actually revert back to where it was. So it's a lot more pliable, easy to work with, in my opinion, in a lot of cases. So that's matte. I got some satin film over here. So this is actually a sand white. So this is obviously a different color, but same thing. This is Avery. So very similar, and I'm gonna go ahead. But we probably should have gone a little bit more. There you go, we got some satin so that we can kind of show, just to show you a little bit of a comparison. It's kind of hard to compare like matte black with satin white. You can see, I'm just gonna put it on top, right? Kind of the difference, just like that. So you can see that a little bit shinier. This is gonna be, I think, the most common. Tesla also has a satin finish to their black. So this is really nice. I think it's easier to keep clean. And it has a nice glossier sheen than the matte itself. The last one that I wanna talk about is going to be gloss. And there's actually two types of gloss that I want you to be aware of. And they have something called like high gloss. So 3M actually just came out with like the high gloss version, which is HG. And then also Avery Denizen also has one called like Obsidian Black, which has a much higher glossiness to the sheen. So this is going to be a standard 3M gloss film. and you can kind of see. All right, so we got this gloss right here, and right now it looks a little bit milky. I don't know if you noticed that. It's because for 3M films, it comes with this. And once you reveal it, it looks a lot better, right? It looks a lot darker. It doesn't look as brown. But one thing about the previous gens that's not high gloss is that it tends to have a lot more orange peel on the gloss. So the newer, and the way they did that is instead of using a paper liner like this, they're using a plastic liner behind the vinyl, which gave it that glossier content. So this is going to be like obsidian black, very, very similar, but you can kind of see. There you go. So this is Avery, this is 3M, and I'm going to show you, I have this, and look at this. This has such a nice dark and glossy tone to it, right? So this is the last sheen that's available. And just so you know, there's obviously things like textured, like you can get carbon fiber, you can get matrix black, you can get a bunch of brush black, and there's color flips, right? There's things like this one, color flow, they call it color flow, 3M calls it color flip, and it changes color. But they do have it in different sheens. They might have it in sand, they might have it in gloss. And all right, I'm just going to remove that so I can make way for the gloss PPF. Some of the differences between PPF and vinyl is going to be the thickness, okay? So these films that have been around for a long time really was there to do, even from the origins, was there to do one thing, is to change the aesthetics or the look of the car, right? From whatever color to beige color or whatever color to blue color. For paint protection film, and it really, in this case, it's like steel protection film or whatever, right? But PPF, that's what the industry standard uses, was made to protect the paint or whatever it was protecting. So PPF is made out of urethane. It has self-healing abilities, and it's significantly thicker. But you don't necessarily need to protect it the same way that you would in a normal car. So in this case, what I've kind of came to terms with, I think, in the film thing is that you're doing this so that you could keep it clean and ease of clean, and also you want to do all your fun stuff, but not take a whole hour to use bar keepers and then have to scrub every single time, right? So this is why I think a lot of people will wrap their Cybertruck. But again, back to this is a steel body, so it's not as important to protect it than it would for like a painted car, like a Model 3, Model Y, or whatever. Everything you saw, it was all, with a dry install using our squeegee, right? A majority of paint protection film that you'll find is going to be a wet install. And what that means is I do not just do this and just stick it, and you can see how awful that looks, like the clarity and the bubbling if I try to do a dry install. So let's go ahead and install this. And to install this, you use typically like baby shampoo or dishwash soap. We use 7th gen soap in all our stuff that we do. And then you want to really use a lot of this, spray it on both areas, and you can see it bubble up. And then you're going to go ahead and once you have the slip solution on the bottom part of the film, you also want to lubricate the top. And this squeegee right here, you also want to glide. It glides through the film, and you can see the kind of difference that it makes on the actual film of the steel. So what's really interesting about paint protection film and the advancements of it in the past few years is the optical clarity is amazing. Like, it's gone better and better, and it is a pretty thick film, but it actually changes slightly the way that the Cybertruck will look. If you look at it, if I can describe the sheen, I mean, this is metal. It's not super glossy, but it's not like super matted. So it's kind of in the middle. I guess it's more of a sand finish if you were to describe it in that way. But once you add this gloss PPF, it definitely makes it pop a lot more. So here's the difference. I'm going to try to get all the water out so you guys can see. You can see it's a little bit muted here, and then you go right here, a lot shinier, right? And then you also get a comparison of gloss vinyl, sand vinyl right here, and then matte vinyl right here. So this is the most common one that most shops will be using, is going to be the gloss PPF. And then the other one that I absolutely love, and I actually have matte on this, and you can see, I don't know if you can see in the bottom of here, I didn't even wash that part, but it is filthy with bugs. So having PPF is very, very helpful, especially for the frontal area. So if you don't do anywhere, I would at the least recommend the front area. Okay. So I got this matte PPF right here. Do the same thing. And you're using even pressure to pull all that water underneath out. And once you do that, the adhesive activates and it sticks. You see the gloss, super shiny, and then you see the matte, it's a lot closer to the look. If you were trying to keep that OEM look, I would highly recommend getting the matte version. I think that looks really, really good. So lastly, there is colored PPF. And this is actually Avery gloss black. And just look at the black on this thing. And this is where I think color PPF really shines, right? Like the colors on it coming out right now, like it's just like blowing up, but it's just incredible. It's incredibly deep. It looks like paint, and it has way less orange peel. So this is the Avery, I think they call it Noir. And this is installed the same way. And you can see the liner is also black, or not liner, but like the inner parts. Same thing. So as far as install goes, there's some pros and cons, I think, to PPF and vinyl. So for me, I think PPF is slightly harder. It took me a lot longer, I think, to get good at it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get all the water out here. All right, let me get some microfiber real quick and just clean this up a little bit. And that way you guys can just really see the difference. There we go. Wow. So there you have it. You have all these options for your Cybertruck. Just another tip, I think, on this is going to be significantly cheaper. So if your sole reason is to change the look of your Cybertruck, I highly recommend going with vinyl. You know, save yourself some money, buy some accessories instead. But if you are doing a lot of, activities and you really want to make it easy for you to clean, I would highly recommend a PPF line. And then that way it has things like a lot better self-healing up properties, and it'll last a lot longer. Typically this film have a 10-year warranty, where these can have about 5. But hopefully that helped you guys. We do have a kit already for the vinyl. We're coming out with the PPF line very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. We are going to be creating a lot of videos about this subject. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. This was fun, and we'll see you later.